crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akua, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Yes, it's 11 o'clock. I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is the debut of Alex Armstrong Tonight Late Edition. And we're kicking it off with It's Raining Rayner. That's Sunday's front pages, as there are developments in the Deputy Prime Minister's housing hypocrisy row, including claims in tomorrow's Telegraph that she only bought her holiday home as a political manoeuvre in order to secure a safe seat in the next election.
We're back, and we're ready for it all over again.
That's what I feel like tonight, at least, anyway. On the front of the Sunday Times, a new poll has shown Jeremy Corbyn's new left-wing party, is it called Jezbollah? I don't know, is set to eliminate Labour's lead amongst young people. I'll bring you all the details, including the poll itself. Plus,
we'll drill, baby, drill.
And I drill, baby, drill.
We're going to drill, baby, drill. And I'm going to drill, baby, drill.
well, it's now drill, Kemi, drill. No more net zero in order to drill, baby, drill. That's what Tory leader Kemi Badenoch will pledge next week as she promises to extract as much oil and gas as possible from the North Sea. And a divine intervention, perhaps. The Archbishop of York, Stephen Cottrell, has warned Nigel Farage that his knee-jerk migrant deportation plan won't solve the small boats crisis. And joining me this evening, former Labour advisor Paul Richards, journalist and broadcaster Linda Jubilee, and the brilliant Leo Kearse. Oh, and before we get stuck in, let's remind ourselves of the wise words of our great working-class Deputy Prime Minister.
Only one rule with this cabinet, and that is that there's one rule for them and one rule for all of us. Like the Foreign Secretary, cancelling leave for our troops and then trooping off to the beach. One rule for them, another rule for us.
Yeah, so welcome to the show, everybody. Well, we've got it's raining Rayner, isn't it? It's raining Rayner. She cannot escape her own problems. Is it for the few, not the many, perhaps? Well, let's get started with the Times, shall we? Because the Times are leading with this. Emails show Prince Andrew was in contact with Epstein in 2015. There's another man who can't seem to escape his past there. There we go. Front page of the Mirror. Shirley Ballas, I never feel safe after stalker ordeal. Of course, strictly judged on needing to always look over her shoulder. OK, we'll talk about that perhaps a little bit more. Daily Mail there, of course, leading with Angela Rayner using top wealth protection firm in deal over her new swanky house. The Sun. Rayner, lobby row. Boyfriend works for firm linked to government cash. Yeah, she just can't escape it, can she? The Observer, the waistline, they're talking about black market weight loss jabs, so we'll be digging into that because there's quite a few front pages here on that. The Sunday Express. Most Britons would refuse to fight for the country. That's a big one. We will dig into that too. The Daily Star, gift of the jab. NHS stabs the flab 200 times in an hour. The Independent, failures that led to girls' unlawful hospital death. The Telegraph, drill, North Sea dry, says Badenoch. All right, well, let's get the thoughts of my brilliant panel. Paul Richards, Linda Jubilee and Leo Curse. All right, guys, well, I feel like we have to start with the Sunday Times. We've done a few bits on Rayner, and we will go back to her. I promise we won't let her get away with this. I want to read this one at the top here, though, because Starmer votes for 16-year-olds would give a boost to Hezbollah.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Labour can't put a foot right. He tried to do this, obviously, as a way of bringing, opening up the franchise to 16-year-olds. He'll bring it to 7-year-olds soon. We'll all be voting for free ice cream, which is basically what these 16-year-olds are going to be doing. He thought, oh, this is great. They're all young. They're all stupid. They don't own any property or have any money. They're going to vote for Labour because we'll offer freebies. And then what happens? Corbyn swoops in with his magical unicorn fairyland party and says, whoa, look at this, balloon animals for everyone, and they're all like, brilliant. But honestly, on a serious note, we should be very worried about the emergence of Jeremy Corbyn's party and other similar parties that seem to be aligning the far left with sort of more Islamist-leaning figures, because as we've seen in other countries, in Iran in 1979, the Islamists allied with the far left to get into power, to overthrow the Shah. Yep. Once they got into power, and the Islamists didn't need their useful or quite useless idiots anymore, they killed them, executed them, jailed them. Yeah. So the far left should be thinking about this. What friends are they really making?
Yeah, watch out, King Charles. Let's show the poll. I want the audience to see the poll, because this is really interesting, because it shows you before and after. So you can see on the left there the voting intention of 16 and 17-year-olds before, and then that's with, you can see on the right that one sort of greyed out, the purplish one is after. So this is with the Hezbollah, Corbyn, Sultana party. Now, quite a stark figure there for the Labour Party, who basically get drawn neck and neck with Nigel Farage. And even still, the left aren't winning here, because, of course, you've got the Tories added up to that, and, you're talking about neck and neck, right and left-leaning. Paul, of course, you're a Labour man. It's a bit of a silly move from Keir Starmer, really, isn't it?
Well, some words of caution. First of all, this poll is of people who are 16 now, but we're talking about a general election, so they should have been polling 12-year-olds, because those are the people before you.
Are you sure they haven't been? I mean, maybe the Labour Party are polling 12-year-olds. And
people change their minds between the age of 12 and age 16, 17, as we know.
Yeah.
Second of all, this party is still bull. I mean, it's they've already split between Sultana and Corbyn. They're not talking to each other. They can't agree on a name. If you put three of them in a room, you get 4 factions. Matcha all over the carpet. It's just going to be an absolute bloodbath. So it's not going to be a serious prospect. There are lots of people who tried this. Scargill tried it. Loach tried it. Oswald Mosley tried it. Yeah. These parties never work.
Well, Linda, what's also interesting about this is the two other parties that don't favour very well here are the Green Party, who get absolutely obliterated by Hezbollah. They were previously polling equal to the Lib Dems and Tories at 14%. They go down to 6% under this poll. And, of course, the Tories somehow magically drop a point as well.
I think the Green Party are incredibly popular in that age group. Absolutely. And the fact of the matter is they've migrated over to Hezbollah. I can understand that. But I saw the two combatants, if you like, in the Green Party election the other night on television. And the problem is I cannot imagine them resonating with teenagers. I cannot imagine it.
I think you've got to be a really politically minded teenager for it to resonate with you. Go on, Paul.
Well, I was going to say, Leo's point is well made about the Islamists, because inside this Corbynite bloc are people who are incredibly socially conservative, who do not support trans rights and gay rights and even women's rights. And that sort of tension inside between the trots, the commies, the well-meaning Guardian readers, the fuzzy-headed peaceniks...
Well-meaning Guardian readers, the first, isn't it?
And then the hardline Islamists Islamist, pro-Gaza, all that. That whole tension in that, it will not work. You cannot support a party like that, so it's not going to work. And then the Greens, I mean, they're going to be led by this guy who's a hypnotist.
Yeah, and the left often has a sort of transactional approach. And we saw this in Hamtramck in Michigan, where the left helped Muslims get the first Muslim council elected in America. And they assumed that because they helped the Muslims would then help them with their pride stuff. I know the first thing the Muslim Council did was ban the pride flag.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly right. Well, Leah, I want to pick you up on this as well, because it says here, right, almost half, 48% of the young people polled would vote Remain if they had a 2016 style Brexit referendum. Only 13% they say they vote Leave.
Yeah.
What do you... I mean, obviously, Brexit's been unpopular amongst young people anyway, because they see it as hampering their freedom of work and freedom of movement. Is this bad news for people like Nigel Farage, who, of course, are staunch Brexiteers? I
don't think it is, because, I think people recognise that, people voted for Brexit and they didn't get Brexit. I don't think anybody, if people have been saying on the side of a bus, oh, you're going to have like 50,000 illegal migrants coming across on boats every year, you're going to have gross migration of well over 1 million. That's insane. I mean, it's insane that we were having relatively culturally similar immigration from European countries, from Poland, places like that, that people were uneasy about, and the system said, well, you didn't like them. Well, how about these people from the Horn of Africa? You know what I mean? It's like a really.
Leo, because of course one of the funniest things about the Jezbollah thing this week that at least erupted is that they've launched this consultation to name their party. They've allowed the public to name the party, which I think is totally...
That's going to end well.
We're about to find out how much of democracy Jeremy Corbyn really believes in. Have you got a name for it? Was there anything that pops to mind?
I've actually signed up as a member because it's free. So
it's great.
So I'm going to be putting my suggestion in, and I don't think they're going to like it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Linda, I'm reading some other stats on this poll here, because the ones we can't see, of course, from the one we showed you on screen, because that's just the poll about who you'd vote for. But also it says here, interestingly, almost a third of boys, 32, think you need to be fit and muscular to be a real man. A view shared by only 11% of girls. Are we getting... I mean, look at the poll there. You can look at the poll for Nigel Farage. I mean, he's definitely a right-wing sort of hero of young boys. We see him go to schools and they love him. And even speaking to my little brother's generation, their early 20s, they love Nigel Farage. And maybe this returns to sort of like traditional masculinity happening across Britain. Particularly with our young people, I find. What do you think of that?
I think that in some quarters there is this desire to return to a traditional masculinity, because we've heard so much of males being young men being in a crisis, if you like. They don't know who to follow. So I think there is a surge towards admiring that type of man. But I've got 2 boys, and I don't think they would. They both voted Green.
Yeah.
They absolutely will continue in that vein. Much to my... No. Although I have to say something that I think is very clear, and I've heard Nigel Farage said this to me, that whatever you say about Jeremy Corbyn, you can describe him as a conviction politician. You might not agree with him.
Just his convictions are terrible.
No.
It's terrorist to tease.
But he is at least a conviction politician. He does actually say something.
He should have some convictions.
Yeah.
But start. I mean, Leah, go back to this one, because more than 4 in 10, 42%, spend more than 6 hours a day on their phone, and 9% spend more than 10 hours on their phone.
That's about half as much as me. I mean,
I'm just here like this all day long. But I think that those numbers are understated. I think they're way higher than that. But I think this says something perhaps about the future of where our political battles will happen.
Yeah.
I think Reform's got Nigel's got this massive following on TikTok.
Yeah, and we've seen in America as well. I mean,
in New York, particularly at the moment,
Zoran Mandami,
the Democratic candidate. Is
and we've seen Trump as well harness social media and and also the podcasts and things like that. I mean, mainstream media, legacy media, just doesn't have the weight. The Sun won it. I don't think the Sun could swing it more than a few percentage points now.
Kids, well, most people, don't read hard copies of newspapers anymore. But I don't think my kids watch conventional news at all. anymore.
Well, they must not if they're voting Green.
Yeah. Well, OK, well, let's talk about young people again, because I think actually this probably goes a bit further than young people. But the Sunday Express here, their front pages, as conflicts rage across the globe, a shocking new poll has revealed most Britons would refuse to fight for our country. And we've seen this poll done for young people before, but this is done for adults, and it says this: 64% of those asked were not willing to fight in the defence of our country if a war were to unfold, with a further 6% saying they were unsure, which I think is like sitting a bit on one fence there, aren't you? I mean, if there's a war, I'm not sure if I'm going to go to war. It's like, well, you're either going or not. So not very willing is the word being used there, Paul?
It reminds me of the history of the 1933 Oxford Union debate, where the motion was, would you fight for king and country? And in 1933, they voted they would not. Now, of course, 6 years later, when Hitler invaded Poland, that became the greatest generation. They stepped up, they queued up miles to join the Home Guard and join the army.
Yeah.
And I think in the situation where this country was threatened by, presumably, the Russians, and, British soldiers were being sent into action, I think the generation would similarly rise to greatness.
No, I totally disagree. And we've seen this country, we've had decades of left-wing politicians break down the idea of the nation-state and turn us into this, deliberately try and turn us into this homogenous global blob. We don't have a country anymore. We've got the UK, whatever that is, and we've got mass immigration, meaning we've got multiculturalism, and diversity is supposed to be our strength. Diversity isn't a strength. Homogeneity is a strength. You don't want to, like, if you're going to be a country, if you're going to go and fight for your country, why would I go to Russia to fight Russia when there's grooming gangs in this country?
No, I think that's a really good point, and I think young people struggle with this, particularly young people, because they're thinking, like, can't get a home. Well, I'm not Angela Rayner. I can't afford one pad, let alone three. And what's this country giving back to me? That I've got 60 grand worth of debt coming out of uni. There's no jobs anymore.
They didn't have it easy in the 1930s either.
Yeah, but if you go back,
but there were still strong community links, Paul. We don't have community.
But if you go back to 1939, and I've heard various commentators over the last couple of weeks say that this period of time reminds them of 1938, 1939. Military commentators and political commentators. But of course, there is a difference in that you see Putin and you see that he has invaded Ukraine, but it's there in Eastern Europe. What you could see was Hitler's inevitable and inexorable advance across Europe, and that, of course, presents a huge threat when you think, well, he'll be in France at the gates of the Channel soon. We have to do something. Now, that's an imperative, and that's where I think the difference... That's your point. No, I'm backing you up, Paul, for once.
Thank you very much. If the Russians roll up the Baltics, and there are British soldiers involved in Estonia right now, then I think people would step up.
Do you think so?
The nation would rise up.
Well, first of all, I think war with Russia is extremely unlikely. I think... What's changed between the 1930s...
Alex...
I'll tell you what. I'll give you my reasoning. I think with nuclear weapons are one thing. Secondly, the power of NATO is exceptional. I think most people at home don't realise how powerful NATO as a force, a military force, is. That's
assuming America's in it. Is America going to be in it? I mean, one of the conditions for the peace talks could be America stepping out of NATO.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they've invested far too much money into it, and I think they would see that as a loss for America, actually. So I don't think they would do that. And I think if you include America in that, it's all over.
By the way, where is Trump?
Well, I think he's been found.
Has he?
He's been missing. He's on the golf course.
He was on a golf course.
For 3 days, he went missing, didn't he?
Yeah, but Joe Biden...
He's very shy and retiring.
Joe Biden went missing for 4 years. He was elected, and that was the last time we had
comparing the two, because I think they are similar.
Well, they're similar ages, that's for sure.
And
but if you look at
health...
Yeah, but if you look at Trump and you compare... Joe Biden couldn't even walk on a sandy beach. I mean, quite literally, he was, like, walking like that. And we are going to talk about this after the break, by the way, with a leading Democrat. So that's going to be a very interesting one. But Trump is obviously, he's here. He's back. He's back. He's going to be greater than ever. I think he's had a couple of days off.
That's the only reason I raised him, was so I could hear the impression.
It's these moments, isn't it, when he holds up the... I just think they're absolutely hilarious, is when they're not interrupting.
We miss him when he's not there.
Yeah. We'll talk about Trump after. Let's go and give you something back, and then we'll do more on Trump, shall we? Because this great British giveaway, and it's your chance to win 104 grand. Well, that's because you can win a 4-berth motorhome worth 74k plus a whopping 30k tax-free cash. Here's Hayley Sparks with all the details.
It's our biggest, greatest Great British giveaway to date. Your chance to win a prize package worth over £104,000. You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primero motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas, sky view roof light, and has all the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025 model. We'll also give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to make sure any adventures in your motorhome are taken in style.
For a chance to win the motorhome and cash, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Leo's telling very dangerous jokes in the breaks here that will not be allowed to be aired, unfortunately, but there we go. Coming up, a court rules most of Trump's global tariffs are illegal, but they stay until mid-October anyway as the case heads to the Supreme Court. This is Alex Armstrong Tonight, late edition. See you shortly.
It's Patrick Christys Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christys Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
I'm so happy.
Did you watch it then? Did you enjoy it?
I was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
Honestly. Why did it come down to the crunch like that?
Because it's England. You know what? No matter whether it's the women or the men, it still keeps you on the edge of your seat. But they've got this resilience. The thing is that we've never seen with the men before. I suppose it's changed a little bit, but it really is that. I don't want to use any cliches, but that's my job. That's my job. Never say die attitude. And it was terrific. Do you know, though, for how long, out of the 3 knockout games that England played after the group stage, for how long they were actually ahead?
Go on.
Don't worry, I'll tell you. 4 minutes and 52 seconds across 3 entire games was the amount of time they were actually ahead. Doesn't matter. Doesn't make any difference.
No. Yeah.
They came back and they won it. It was
would it have been better? I'm going to say.
Are you looking at
you know, but in terms of if we'd had a stronger game, if we'd been really punching in this rather than it going right down to the wire.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it really. I honestly don't think it matters. It's just about who wins, and when you've got a trophy. Which is up for grabs there, and also for the second time that the Lionesses have done it. And they were underdogs. I mean, they were. You'll have players that will say, oh, no, I don't think so. And I said to you on Friday, there wasn't much in it, but the Spanish team were the favourites. They're the world champions. And also, pound for pound, if you look player for player, again, there's another cliche for you, they would have been the better side. But it's a team game. It's how everybody reacts together, how everybody plays alongside each other, and the management. And you could see that. And when it came to penalties, there was one side that were going to win it, and I just thought it was us.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Alex Armstrong Tonight, late edition. A federal appeals court has ruled that most of Donald Trump's global tariffs exceed his presidential authority, calling them illegal under International Emergency Economic Powers Act. I never heard that one before, there we go. The tariffs, which targeted nearly every country the United States trades with, will remain in place until mid-October as the case moves forwards with the Supreme Court. That's raising major questions for the US economy, international trade and Trump's political agenda. Well, I'm now joined by US commentator and former Democrat Party strategist, Bob Weiner. Bob, thank you so much for joining me. I mean, I think the first thing to talk about is the tariff situation, because this has captured the global economy, at least. Should Americans, and maybe all of us, because we're all tied to America, if America sneezes, we all get a cold, should we be worried?
Well, first of all, Alex, congratulations on your show, and I'm honored to be, and thank you to you and to Cooper and to James for referring me to you to be on, having had a wonderful relationship with Ben Leo. So thank you and good luck with your show. I really am honored to be on it tonight.
Thank you so much for coming on, Bob. We're excited to have you.
The tariffs, it's economics out of his rear, Alex. It is unbelievable. You know that he's from 0 to 150%, depending on whether the president of the country happened to say that he had a rigged election in the past, and he doesn't like that the current president is in there. That's what he did with Bolsonaro. It's unbelievable how he picks his tariffs, and then he includes countries that are purely penguins. They weren't even real people. So the world is rightfully laughing at his foreign policy, and when they get together in conferences, laugh at him for how little he knows and how little he understands.
Well, Bob, I mean, so on this tariff stuff, because, of course, the Supreme Court, I believe, you have to correct me on my American politics here, is more right-leaning, so it's more Republican-leaning, and Trump, of course, has appointed quite a few judges in his term, I understand. Does this mean, or are you anticipating the Supreme Court will rule in his favour, do you think?
Well, you know, this has swung back and forth with earlier courts, by the way. They already ruled it was illegal, then another court ruled that they were legal, now it's illegal. They may, for presidential power, give him the right to do tariffs because Congress could always jump in and use the power that they're entitled to and say no. And Congress has not. They have just, like a limp duck, they have given Trump all the power. I think where Trump is in bigger danger, to be honest, Alex, is with Lisa Cook and the Fed. He's trying to organize the world's economy on interest rates that he wants in the Fed. And that would totally disrupt the truth of the economy booming. And by the way, in your last segment where you said Biden walks like this, you can make the jokes, except that Biden powered the world to the leading economy that led the world, and Trump has just completely messed it up. So Biden, what he did with infrastructure and with helping the economy and with programs for people so that people weren't losing benefits, everything Trump does is to lose benefits, is outrageous. And he is 20 points down in every poll on every issue right now.
Yeah, do you think Trump cares that he's down in the poll? I mean, he's not got to face re-election, has he? Let's face it. I mean, he's technically a lame duck president, even though it's... I mean, most presidents in this point in their office will probably not be doing very much. They'll be thinking about their legacy. They'll be trying to hand the reins to their next the one they favour, at least taking over the presidency. You know, Trump's been pretty bullish, hasn't he? I mean, he's interrupting my shows on a daily basis, Bob, which is much to my displeasure, I have to admit.
Just
before we carry on, because he's very busy. He's obviously doing a lot. You know, he's got a lot of energy. And I think maybe the criticism I was having, I was playing a little bit with Biden, of course. I know he wasn't a very well man, and I do have a lot of sympathy for Biden being in that position. But I think maybe what I'm saying is that compare the two. You know, Trump's got this energy. He's doing press conferences for hours on end. I mean, he's still on air when I'm off air, which is saying a lot as well, because I'm here quite often. So, I mean, you've got to say he's got some energy about him, hasn't he?
He hasn't improved from drink COVID and inject bleach. You know, I'll never forget when he said to Deborah Burke there, the great scientist in the White House briefing room, you know, so we should just inject them with bleach, right, Deborah? And she looks down. She didn't know what to say. She was being boxed in with this idiotic idea. So, I mean, he still is that way on almost every issue. He got in because of fear of replacement theory and people on immigration, and he's right that crime is a big issue, and he ran in on the fears and the negatives. Those now he has so overexceeded and so overwhelmed the people. You're right, he's by these constant. I've never seen anybody dominate the media like he has. but he has so overwhelmed his own purposes. If he had only stopped with immigration he zeroed out the border, he zeroed out the crossings, but no, he had to go into 65 people in a room with only a toilet as water. And he had to deport them to countries and torture them, even though CBS says that 70% of them were innocent with no due process. People don't like those, and to create a military state, Alex, like Pritzker, one of the leading presidential candidates, said it would be an invasion if he sends the military to Illinois. And that's what people think, is that he's creating a police state, which used to be the lefty joke 30 years ago, and now he's created it as a reality.
Yeah,
it's really fearsome, and he's losing big time on that.
Yeah, on the bleach thing, he said maybe we should use the bleach or something. Maybe we should use the bleach or something like that. I think that was kind of his thing at the time. But let's move on, because I want to bring the panel in on this story as well. So I've got great panellists here. I've got Linda Dewberry, I've got Paul Richards, and I've got Leo Kirst with me. And I'd love them to talk to you about this story, because, of course, there were rumours yesterday or so that Trump had died. Debunked, of course, because we saw him leaving for the White House, and he's on a golf course somewhere with his granddaughter, Kai. Leo, should we take it from there?
Yeah, so, I mean, Trump has actually said some things in recent weeks hinting about the afterlife. He said he wants to get into heaven. He wants to make some decisions that'll get him into heaven. Is this him hinting? And I think he's been seen with the bruised hand. Obviously, he shakes a lot of hands.
Well, with both hands, Leo.
But yeah, well, that's another thing. I mean, I guess there's so many hands to shake that he's got to use both. But I mean, are these possibly clues that he's not as robust as he seems?
I'm not his doctor. To me, he seems like he has energy. I think it's more what a Secret Service person said to me, who's actually one of the trainers in the Secret Service. What he doesn't have is an ounce of humanity. And that's the problem with him. So everything is transactional in terms of the narcissistic and the money. Everything. All the things are toward his credit. That's where he's losing. He's so excessive on all of his policies that he's 20 to 40 points down on the things he used to be ahead on, which included the economy and immigration and crime. He's down on those because he's tearing up the American fabric and the democracy, which your country taught us to honor and to enjoy.
OK, let's bring in Paul.
I mean, as a fan of America, I think it's really tragic to see America's reputation internationally slide because of this guy in the White House. It's a great shame, because so many of us have looked to America.
It's improving.
For years. But I just wonder if this kind of sense that perhaps it is sliding into a kind of post-democratic, maybe quasi-Tory
like Britain
state. Is that real, do you think? Or is it just a paranoid fantasy?
I think it's very real, and I think what Trump has always had, he's always had Putin envy, and Putin, of course, has Stalin-Lenin envy. But, it's really if you look at everything he's done, if you read The Art of the Deal, in 1985, he went to Russia to, quote-unquote, meet with, we know what that means in Trump's case, with Dobrynin, the foreign minister's daughter, but actually to set up a Moscow Tower Trump. It didn't happen. He was conned, and what they got was, what Russia got was a compromat who was an American capitalist. Sure, that's what they thought, but then it turned out that he's the president of the United States, and they didn't ever dream that they would have him in that capacity. I think that's what's going on. And I think, my God, after he meets with Putin, he changes from "I want a ceasefire" to "I want a long-term peace." I mean, he immediately adopted Putin's talking points. So it's terrible what's happened to the world, and the world sees it. And all they've got is mini Putin in the United States for foreign policy. And yes, it's sliding. It's a disaster. We have no respect in the world now. And you've got a Russian clone who's our head of intelligence with Tulsi Gabbard, and she was in the meetings there. So that, I think, is a serious problem that you have to confront, because Britain and Germany were the leaders of Europe and were in many ways considered the leaders of the free world. And now you're going to have to even take on a bigger role because Trump has ceded the point.
OK, well, we're just going to push back a little bit on this concept that he was compromised in a video in any way, of course, because we can't verify that, Bob. But I want to bring in Linda very briefly. Come on, let's go.
So I'll just be very brief, but in the Financial Times this morning, they were talking about the real problem with Trump is that he is edging further and further and further into an authoritarian regime.
Of course.
The irony is that as China that was an authoritarian regime is loosening up a little, America is actually going down a path of being more authoritarian. Do you think that that is the case?
Well, I'll tell you, China loosening up and what they're doing in Hong Kong and Tibet and Taiwan, I wouldn't call that loosening up. I think China's a very serious problem.
I mean, as far as commercial dealings are concerned, it's obviously it's got a battle on its hand, and it is. I mean, I lived there for 5 years. It's very different to when I was there.
Fine, but you know, Nixon helped open up China too. So I mean, you know, I think we have to relate with China. They are a world economic power, and I think trading. As long as they don't continue on their intellectual property kick, their theft of intellectual property is outrageous, what China does. My wife is a professor at George Washington, which is a center of Chinese takeovers of the universities, and 60 Minutes did a big piece on it. We have to watch China for what it is. You know, if we can deal with them, fine, we have to, yes.
Bob, final thing here. Do you have any good impressions of a president or a previous president that you can have a little president off with me? Because I think my Trump impression's pretty good.
I think you're fine on your Trump. You know, it's not everything that he does is bad. I think it's fine that he meets with North Korea. It's fine that he actually tries to use tariffs, but not to the extreme that he is, where it's ruining the world and lying about tariffs, saying the other countries pay it when it's the Americans that do. You know, the real deal on tariffs, and nobody's figured this out, is that by getting all the money from all the countries, he's got an economy that can pay for all that stuff for the rich. It's
That's
not
it.
the cuts.
Bob, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we've got to leave it there, Bob.
Tax breaks for the rich.
Bob, thank you so much for joining. Bob Weiner there, brilliant stuff as ever. Thank you very much for joining me. Listen, I think Trump would have some things to say to Bob Weiner, actually. I wonder what he'd say. I wonder what he'd say to Bob. I think Bob is completely delusional. I think he's an old guy. I don't know, I like him, but he's a bit delusional. I think when we talk about like a military state and all this, I mean, it's all exaggerated. I think they're heading towards authoritarianism. I think this country's looking way worse on those terms. When it comes, we can't even. You get
No, there's real big problems in America now.
We've got
just tried to sack a member of the Fed Reserve Bank.
We've got local residents who express their views democratically and through the courts that they don't want a migrant hotel in their area, completely overruled, trampled on by the government.
Wait, write a tweet about it, you're going to jail. I think that's way worse than what's happening in America. He's just trying to crack down on crime. I mean, he's got crime.
Well, no, I think sacking a member of the Fed Reserve, the central bank...
Yeah, they should have control. What the Federal Reserve...
That's much more serious. That's unheard of in US history.
We used to be able to control our central banks here in this country until Gordon Brown got rid of that power, and they've been running wild ever since. It should have some democracy in how our money's being spent, considering it's completely out of control and you're all paying the cost for it.
We don't have troops on the street, though, do we, like in America?
That's a good idea. We should have troops on the street.
I have the troops on our street because knife crime's out of control in this country. We've got crime on the right.
Who? The Grenadier Guards?
Roll them out.
Which regiment
all
will
of
you
them.
put on the
Get them all
streets?
out. They're not doing much at the moment. Let's roll them out to the streets until we're... Maybe get them...
Not doing much.
Not doing much at the moment. I mean it when I mean
That's called doubling down.
So, anyway, coming up, the Archbishop of York slams Nigel Farage's knee-jerk response to mass deportations, saying it offers no long-term solutions. This is Alex Armstrong, late edition. Anything can happen.
That's quite funny.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Low pressure in charge of our weather at the moment. It's bringing a band of rain eastwards, but it should soon clear, and then blustery showers will follow overnight. And it's another windy day across the whole of the UK through Sunday. We can see low pressure just anchored to the northwest of the UK at the moment, driving weather systems eastwards. That rain will soon clear eastern parts of England, northeast Scotland as we head into the early hours. And then overnight we'll see a mixture of clear spells and showers. Showers most frequent across western areas. Some of them could be heavy at times. The odd rumble of thunder is possible. And it stays quite blustery here. Temperatures for everyone with that wind around and showers staying in double figures around 12 to 14 Celsius. So a bright start on Sunday morning, a mixture of sunny spells and scattered showers. The overnight rain just about clearing Shetland first thing, and then a bright start across much of Scotland. Some showers in the west from the word go. Breezy though, particularly in the west, gusts of 40 miles an hour or so. Mixture of sunny spells and showers for Northern Ireland into northern England. Wales and southern parts of England also seeing a scattering of showers, whilst the Midlands, East Anglia, South East England should initially be largely dry, but we'll see some showers developing here through the day. And a windy day for everyone. The wind's coming in from the southwest, gales around western coast, perhaps 50-60 mile an hour gusts for eastern parts of Northern Ireland into western Scotland. Some persistent rain developing here later on in the afternoon. Widespread showers for many. Where you miss them, in the sunshine, temperatures reaching 22 or 23 Celsius, but feeling rather cool with that blustery wind. For Monday, low pressure is still in charge. Frequent showers across northern and western parts. Some heavy showers in there, some thunderstorms. Those pushing eastwards as the day goes on. And another blustery day for much of the country. And it stays unsettled for the week ahead. Further showers. There'll be some sunshine in between. Temperatures around average. See you again soon.
Join me, Nana Akua, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GBNews, Britain's news channel.
Miriam, you can't be serious. Scrapping the triple lock on state pensions? Madness.
Andrew, we just can't carry on pretending. The numbers just don't add up. We've got to be honest with people. We've got to face the facts. That's what people want.
Well, that's what you get on GB News and on Britain's Newsroom. Lively debates, lively conversation.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first, and we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to the later edition. Well, we're going to get you some inside stories now because the Archbishop of York, Stephen Cottrell, who is currently acting head of the Church of England nonetheless, has criticised Nigel Farage and Reform UK's what he calls knee-jerk reaction to mass deportations. Well, in an interview, the Archbishop has said Nigel Farage is not offering any long-term solutions to the migrant problem and that he had every sympathy with people who are concerned about asylum seekers coming to the country illegally. Well, let's dig into that with the panel here. I've got Leo Kurz, Paul Richards and Linda Jubilee with me as ever. Leo, I just think they should just shut up, shouldn't they?
Well, two things. I bet this Archbishop locks his door at night. You know what I mean? If you want to open borders, live by your ideals. Open your borders. Yeah. Don't have a wall. Don't have a wall around your church, around your garden or whatever. And the second thing is, I've noticed people in the Church of England, in particular, are very keen on, oh, we must open our borders and welcome everybody here. All 7.3 billion refugees of the world must come to the UK and we must wash their feet and all the rest of it. Or, you know, they want other people to pay for it, obviously. But I think they're doing this. They want other cultures, other religions to come to the UK because it's actually driving people to sign up to Christianity.
Yeah,
because
it's either that or it's turning the churches into car parks. So it's one of the two things that's happening, isn't it? I've seen loads of churches are closing down. Loads of them are miraculously across Europe. Loads of churches have been under attack the last few years as well. What's causing that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
and in America.
Yeah, what do you make of this story, Linda?
I think that's quite an interesting point, though, about driving people to join up to Christianity. Because quite frankly, I hear all the time that we're a Christian nation, all the time that we should be proud of our Christian faith. J.D. Vance is going on about Europe being the birthplace of Christianity, which kind of is geographically incorrect.
Yeah, but we kind of made it, we refined it and made it, made it really good.
But have we?
We wore trousers.
How often do you go to church?
Yeah. That's not the point.
It is precisely
everyone
the
worships
point.
in their own way, Linda.
That's precisely the point, and that's my point. We go on and on about being a Christian nation, but how many of us actually practice it?
Do you know what it is? I don't think it's so much that we are religiously Christian, but it's the values. It's the Christian values.
No. Well, then have human values. Don't have Christian values. It's a specific religion. If you want to have a specific religion, practice those values. If you want to say I'm a humanist, you want to say I have humanity at my heart.
Humanism isn't Christianity. Christianity's, very
well, no, it's not.
specific
Christianity is a religion that you practice.
My concern is that these guys are in the House of Lords as legislators. There are two legislatures in the whole world that have clerics in it. One is the British House of Lords and the other is Iran.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I think
that's rather worrying.
Get the clerics out of.
Yeah, well, I think Nigel Farage will be having a look at him, considering the man looks like he's likely to be the Prime Minister in 4 years. Well, at least the general election was called today. He'll be looking at the Lords and going, you lot are out, see you later. Be careful what you wish for, guys. Be careful how political you get. I mean, this is the thing. You just think you're there to talk about Christianity, not about deportation.
And this is why, you know, people are going to the Catholic Church and going to Orthodox churches, because the Church of England is so weak and wishy-washy now. What happened to Richard Lionheart?
No one's practicing it.
Yeah, well, what happened to like guys on horses with swords?
The Crusades.
That stuff. I'd go at that church.
No, go to a good. I'm a Catholic. Go to a nice Catholic service. You find out what a bit of structure is.
Yeah,
there.
but okay, but saying that, the new Pope, Pope Leo, I can't remember. I can't keep up with. There's so many these days. The Pope Leo has just come out and said he was happy about the Chagos still, didn't he? So he's wading into politics as well. It's just like all of them, just shut up. Just shut up. Do your service.
Why do they?
Have people in there.
Aren't we all about free speech, Alex?
No, I'm free speech, but you know what?
Except where they're concerned.
Yeah, but you know, it's not that, Linda. It's just like, I mean, what point are you driving people away from the same thing you're meant to be trying to get people to come? This is why churches are falling and people.
Yeah, but if they want to make that mistake, go and let them make that mistake.
Right, but I don't want to see the end of Christianity, because I think that will really hurt our culture and our values. No,
it is good. It is very good, but I think you do have to make an effort to practice your religion.
I guess you're right. Well, let's just go on to a second story here, because Britain's global talent visa scheme is under fresh scrutiny after the Telegraph has revealed it welcomed Turkish transgender drag queens, Nigerian rappers, poets, and get this, evangelical church singers. I mean, maybe they can go to this Archbishop of York's service. The visa designed to attract top creatives has seen a 178% surge in applications since 2019. I'll just read these names out. Actually, I'm not even going to bother.
You can imagine.
My spelling of names and at least reading them out is pretty poor. This is just ridiculous. I mean, Leo, every time we see more and more of these stories about our immigration system, the more people just go, I am so fed up.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no problem with, like, you know, top-tier people coming here. You know, I've spoken to people coming from Hong Kong that work in finance and stuff, and that's the sort of immigration we want and we need. These are people who make a lot of money, pay into the system, are great to live next door to. You know, they totally acclimatise and fit in with British culture. And, you know, these guys that are coming as, you know, if you're coming as a drag queen, all right, there's probably plenty of work. There's lots of primary schools in Britain that the Labour Party has to send you into. So, you know, I don't really have a problem with that, as long as, you know, they pay their way and, you know, and don't overstay their visa and play the system. Because I've noticed as a comedian, it's hard for me to go and perform in America, in certain countries, even, you know, going to Australia, I've got to get visas and stuff. Whereas anybody seems to be able to come here. You know, even I'm not talking about illegal migrants. I'm talking about comedians and stuff. They can come here and perform without paying 10 grand for a visa.
Yeah, even head clerks can come here and get a visa. So there we go. Linda, what do you make of all this visa nonsense?
Well, no, I think it's all very straightforward. I think we make such a meal of all of this. I mean, you apply to get a visa here, you go through the process, you come over here, and then when you leave, when the visa ends. Or you don't, and you seek asylum. That doesn't
that's
happen.
Exactly what happens, isn't it? That's exactly what happens. We all know. We all know the people who. This is one thing we don't talk about, because we talk about the small boat migrants all the time because they're visible.
Yeah, but not people overstaying. Not overstaying. Yeah, I know.
I think we need more Turkish drag queens.
Public life. You'll write down my comments earlier on. I'll be writing that one down. I hope you don't run from us.
They are the hairiest.
Turkish drag queens.
They are the hairiest drag queens. The amount of effort they have to put into shaving.
The best food.
I'm sure that belly dancing will be a sight for sore eyes.
Let's invite one on. Come on, next week. Let's see what.
Well, maybe we can, actually. Maybe get a performance as well.
Yes.
Turn off the entire audience, but no one's going to tune in next week now, aren't they? Anyway, coming up, the big coup for upcoming Reform conference. Let's get this. Heathrow Airport sign up as a sponsor. Wonder why? We're looking at that next.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Storm Augustine is easing across northern parts of Europe, bringing mostly settled conditions, though we can't rule out some showers at times. For example, across northwest Portugal, northern parts of Spain and western parts of France, we just have some outbreaks of rain pushing through here. But otherwise, as we move our way eastwards across the Mediterranean, mostly high pressure dominating, so plenty of sunshine to go around. Though as we head into next week, there's a chance we could just start to see some thundery showers push into parts of Italy, but temperatures mostly remaining in the mid to high 20s.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
It's Patrick Christys tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christys tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, Heathrow has been unveiled as a sponsor of Reform UK's annual conference. As a big businesses, they're all flocking to Reform UK now, aren't they? Well, this is, of course, the UK's top airport, sponsoring a lounge at the event this week coming up. Well, I think it's next week, but anyway, which will be the party's largest gathering since it was formed in 2018. Yes, Reform's attracting a lot of big boys now, aren't they, Linda?
Yep. I think that's a very encouraging sign, actually.
Yeah, well, they're leading the polls. Of course, you don't want to be on the wrong side of Reform now. You want to be in the doors with them. And I've been to these conferences before, and I think it was quite small last year compared to the Tories, even though the Tories was quite depressing. Labour being in government was obviously quite a big moment for them, their first conference since government. I suspect that'll be quite depressing this year, Paul.
Well, I mean, I suspect Heathrow's Public Affairs Department are sponsoring all the conferences. So it's not just Reform. They'll be at the Greens and the Lib Dems and the Tories and the Labour as well. Our conference has got some quite big debates to have, I would say. There's going to be a serious edge to it this year.
Like who's going to be the next leader?
No, but it won't be celebratory like last year, I can tell you.
Yeah, Leo, what do you think the reason for Heathrow sponsoring the event might be?
Well, I think it's the reason other businesses big businesses are cozying up to reform. They know that reform are going to get in, so they want to be in reform's good books, and I think it's great. And I think reform are going to be a much more business-friendly government, and and cut taxes and make cut red tape for businesses.
Look, I
have a feeling. Sorry, we've got to wrap up. Sorry, Linda. Well, I've got a feeling it's because they might want the deportation flights to come out. There we go. Let's just go over the front pages for you one last time. The Times emails show Andrew was in contact with Epstein in 2015. The Mirror, Shirley Ballas, I never feel safe after stalker ordeal. Daily Mail, Rayner used top wealth protection firm in deal over house. The Sun, Rayner lobby row, boyfriend works for firm linked to government cash. Observer, The Wasteland Express. Most Britons would refuse to fight for country. And, of course, there you go. And the Telegraph, drill, North Sea, dry, says Badenoch. And that is all of your front pages again for you there. I mean, listen, it's been quite a Rayner-heavy show, hasn't it? We've got a lot of Angela Rayner, a lot of Donald Trump as well. I mean, we now found out Donald Trump is alive and well. We found out Angela Rayner is a wealthy woman. We've learned a lot here. We learned that jabs are on the rise. We didn't get a chance to talk to that. We found out most Britons wouldn't go to war. We found out most 16 and 17-year-olds will vote for Jezbollah, smashing the Labour Party on that one. Well, anyway, all of that. We've got loads more, of course, coming up on GB News if you're watching this morning, because, of course, up next is breakfast. But if you're finishing up your night and having a cup of tea, maybe a decaf and you're going to bed, thank you for joining me, Linda, Paul and Leo. Stay tuned, as I said, for breakfast starting at, if you're watching at 5 a.m, that is, breakfast is coming up next. But first, it's your weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. Low pressure in charge of our weather at the moment. It's bringing a band of rain eastwards, but it should soon clear, and then blustery showers will follow overnight. And it's another windy day across the whole of the UK through Sunday. We can see low pressure just anchored to the northwest of the UK at the moment, driving weather systems eastwards. That rain will soon clear eastern parts of England, northeast Scotland as we head into the early hours. And then overnight we'll see a mixture of clear spells and showers. Showers most frequent across western areas. Some of them could be heavy at times. The odd rumble of thunder is possible. And it stays quite blustery here. Temperatures for everyone with that wind around and showers staying in double figures around 12 to 14 Celsius. So a bright start on Sunday morning, a mixture of sunny spells and scattered showers. The overnight rain just about clearing Shetland first thing, and then a bright start across much of Scotland. Some showers in the west from the word go. Breezy though, particularly in the west, gusts of 40 miles an hour or so. Mixture of sunny spells and showers for Northern Ireland into northern England. Wales and southern parts of England also seeing a scattering of showers, whilst the Midlands, East Anglia, South East England should initially be largely dry, but we'll see some showers developing here through the day. And a windy day for everyone. The wind's coming in from the southwest. Gales around western coast, perhaps 50-60 mile an hour gusts for eastern parts of Northern Ireland into western Scotland. Some persistent rain developing here later on in the afternoon. Widespread showers for many. Where you miss them, in the sunshine, temperatures reaching 22 or 23 Celsius, but feeling rather cool with that blustery wind. For Monday, low pressure is still in charge. Frequent showers across northern and western parts. Some heavy showers in there, some thunderstorms. Those pushing eastwards as the day goes on. And another blustery day for much of the country. And it stays unsettled for the week ahead. Further showers. There'll be some sunshine in between. Temperatures around average. See you again soon.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's our biggest Great British giveaway to date. You could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primera motorhome. This 4-berth home from home comes complete with integrated kitchen and bathroom areas and has all of the tech you'd expect from the latest 2025